It's Nikki, Rusty, Lincoln, Mark, and myself, Dave, doing our 2017 annual Kinderspiel des Jahres, talking about the kids' games nominated for the award episode thing. Let's get to it. Here are the 3 games. We have Captain Silver, The Mysterious Forest, Ice Cool, and we're going to talk about all of them. Let's start with you, Lincoln.
Okay, well, I'm going to focus on Mysterious Forest first, I guess. Mysterious Forest is a fun game. It has like a little bit of element of the Leo, which I love so much, from Leo Goes to the Barber, which I loved so much last year. And it's fun, but that one is more fun. And you said it in the video that it was the more push your luck kind of thing, which I think is...
in Leo Goes to the Barber.
Yeah, absolutely. This one doesn't have that. I would love to... Although we did end up having a push your luck element. We're like,
right.
Should we spend this? So that's the one thing, I guess, that kind of gives you that. But
I don't know that would happen necessarily every game.
Of course.
It happened in our game. It feels like that's always going to happen in Leo Goes to the Barber. But what did you think of The Mysterious Forest?
I really liked it. I liked it, and I think I was taken in by the story, the theme, if you want to call it that, but really just the artwork. I thought the artwork was super fun and actually added to the game. I would want to go check out the webcomic afterwards. I mean, I could really see playing that with a little kid, definitely on the the little kid side. This one really skews towards the younger end. And I know the Kinderspiel ones all sort of...
are meant to do that, yeah.
Well,
right.
I mean, some of them are probably better for kids that are 8 years old, and some are better for kids for 4 years old, right? This one you can play with the real young ones and play it and then look at the story later. And
well, and
I
it
thought
has...
it was fantastic.
It has, unlike the other 2, it has variable difficulty level if you want, so you could change it for age
This
group.
changes that end. Captain Silver has the... You change it on the other end. It's not difficulty, but it changes strategy.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's right.
Rusty, what did you think of Mysterious Forest?
Mysterious Forest, out of the 3, this is the least frantic. I had the ability to sit here and enjoy it. It wasn't a matter of, gotta go, oh, wait.
Right.
And having that up and down, it was a nice, even, consistent feel that built towards the end. And so it was a little slow going at the beginning, but the enjoyment built over time, like a story would, where you're getting towards the end in that, it's like, how is this going to end? Is this going to end good? Is this going to end well?
Right.
Poorly. So it was a good, fun game, and I would definitely recommend
It sounded like there was a but.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It was a nice, even game, but not as frantic as I would hope a little bit.
So you're saying in this case the less frantic nature of it is almost a detriment for you?
Almost a detriment for me.
Interesting.
But I'm more of a faster game player. So I would like to see shorter games that we can go through quickly, and I like that levels of excitement throughout.
Well, of the 3 games, I think that's probably the shortest, right?
Of the 3?
Depending, I guess, yeah. Well, this would go faster with an easier table we could work around.
That's
but
cool.
That's
yeah.
true. What did you think of the Mysterious Forest, Nikki?
The main thing I liked really about it was the art. I loved the plants and the little worlds or whatever parts of the forest he's running through, and I thought what made it different from where we keep going to Leo Goes to the Barber.
Just because it's got a similar element.
That
Just a
memory
similar, not
thought-
even really close.
Yeah, they're just co-ops and with memory. But
Yeah.
I like the backpack aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay, it put more into the game than just memory.
Right.
So that was fun for me, and the possible exchanging coins, and not really knowing if that little dude was gonna turn over Loki and be the thing you hoped for.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was fun for me.
Cool. Did you like that? Pick another one. Which one you want to go to next?
Let's do Ice Cool.
Okay, go for it.
Penguins are cute. And again, the artwork, I like the detail that was going on in each of the rooms was really, while you were waiting for your turn to shoot your penguin across, I was looking at the different classrooms, and there's stuff on the table, and there's like these fish posters on the walls. So actually I was having fun even when it wasn't my turn, because I was looking at each of the rooms and finding all the little details. The dexterity of this is fun too. I like how it's this weird box of rooms that get hooked together.
Right,
So
yeah.
so the design idea of the play board was different for me and made it fun.
Yeah.
Rusty?
Wow. Well, for Ice Cool, I like the fact even though that it wasn't my turn, there were still risks for me. I was still involved with it because you had the other players that were coming around to knock me down, potentially getting into the doors before me, and then we had the runner who was coming after me and could knock me out in between.
Hall monitor.
Yeah, the hall monitor could take me out, and that was that little bit of like, okay, I need to keep involved in the game. So even though it wasn't my turn, I was always involved, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So
That makes sense.
It kept the game moving. I felt fun the entire time.
Yeah, Mark?
I really liked Ice Cool. The funny thing is, it feels like a regular game, not a kid's game
Yeah,
to
me
me.
too.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that I'm sure we can mess around with it and make different board layouts, which I think also adds to the more. Not that it's a gamer game. I mean, it's a kid's game, and that any dexterity game could be a kid's game. But oh man, I can imagine playing with young kids and seeing these pieces flick across the room, and it has a toy factor, but almost to its detriment. I really like this game, but I thought it was a weird pick for kids, actually.
Yeah, I was laughing when you said across the room when there was a rule we never got to when we played this, which explains what you do if your penguin goes off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that never happened to us, but I could totally see that happening with kids.
Oh.
Well,
Over and
especially
over
if you
and
do
over
the
again.
bounce, man. That
Yeah.
thing can bounce pretty good.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I like it a lot. I think it's really fun. I was impressed with it from. I think they showed it at Gen Con, but it could have been Essen, and I thought it was amazing looking because I really liked the trick shots you can do. I mean, that is really, really a great. The design of the penguins is really amazing. You can really do some fun stuff with it. Obviously, it takes some finesse and some practice to get to do that. Because the spinning is the stuff that's really amazing. One of the guys that demoed it has probably played it a billion times, and he did, some amazing curl shot. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
And it's sad we didn't get to cover this sooner because we actually I had been wanting to do it since Essen. It's one that I really, really like.
I think Ice Cool is my least favorite of the three because it's all flash to me and no substance. But part of that is that I'm not good at flicking games.
Yeah.
So I know that factors into it. So, with that caveat, I don't know. It's hard to tell because we tend to not play any of these kids' games over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. In fact, many of these kids' games I don't even know about because I learned them because of this show, the nomination in this show. But I don't know that I'd want to keep playing this over and over again. I think I could play this more times, Mysterious Forest more times than I could play Ice Cool, but I don't know because I don't know that will ever happen. But once you see how the box becomes the thing, that's crazy cool.
Yeah.
The penguins themselves, you're right, are crazy cool. And Rusty, you're not wrong. The notion of always kind of being involved, that's there too. But I think by the third or fourth play of this, I would be like, I don't know that I want to play this again. But again, that's just me. Whereas Captain Silver, which I think is my favorite of the three, I think I would always be happy to play this. It's not something I'm going to say, let's play this necessarily, but we'll get to you, and you're being the only one with actual children in a second. But if I had kids and they were like, Dad, we want to play Captain Silver, I'd probably be like, okay. Whereas if the kids were like, Dad, we want to play Ice Cool, I'd be like, well, you kids have fun. Yeah. I think anyway. I don't know. What do you think, Link?
It's my favorite of the three too. I think they're all really good games. And I feel that I'm with you on the flash aspect of that one, 100%. But this one is actually challenging, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's challenge to that too. But I don't know that I'm ever going to get that skill or have the patience and the time to get that skill. This one is surprisingly difficult. There's,
in a good way.
It's absolutely insane that you can't pull the pieces out sometimes. It's like, I feel in the game that we played, I was getting worse as we were going along. Like I had more knowledge of the pieces or something, and I was actually doing a poorer job of pulling them out.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Nick?
This one, I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I played it at BGG Spring a bunch of times because I was demoing it.
Right.
And so I got an opportunity to sit and play with a lot of parents and their children. And their kids were having a lot of fun, and they were dragging their parents over to play it with them. And they did a very good job at feeling the pieces. The speed wasn't necessarily there as far as getting it down before somebody else, but they were pretty good at feeling those shapes. It was kind of crazy, and I I lost a lot of the time, and just like Lincoln, the first round, I felt like I did,
Yep.
really well, and I would just get worse. I don't know if it was because I was paying attention to other things. I mean, I was running a booth,
Right.
but I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And I had to play it a bunch of times, whether I wanted to or not.
Well, that's
So-
cool, right? Because unlike the rest of
a real
us, this is
test.
actually a game you played a lot of times.
Yeah.
Rusty, what do you think?
As I mentioned earlier, this one has that frantic, constant go, 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 and I like that action. Gotta keep in the game. Gotta keep paying attention to everything. It's not just mental. It's visual. It's also having to deal with your hands. You're dealing with multiple senses at the same time.
Yep.
So you're paying attention to what other players are doing as well. It's like, okay, that pace went away. Okay, don't pull that out of the bag. That's going to harm me.
Right.
So that was happening to me in the first couple of rounds. I was paying more attention to what piece I had and making sure I could pull it out, and that's probably why I wasn't coming out as often. But I never felt bored at any time in this game.
Right.
So I think out of the three, I agree that this is the best of the three. Not that any of them there's
you.
anything wrong,
Yeah.
but for me, this is the best of the three.
Yeah. Mark?
I like Captain Silver too. I'm not really a speed game guy. That's not a mechanism I love. So
But you love those crazy pattern recognition
No, I
games where
don't.
you have to be the first person.
No, I don't.
I thought you did. Why do you get them all the
I
time?
bought them
then?
back. I learned. I think I learned I don't like them. It's really, and then I stopped buying them. But I do like, there's some game I played a million years ago or tried to play that had that thing of reaching into a bag and feeling it. But I've never seen it in any other game. And frankly, this does it probably better than that other game did
I
anyway.
think Dr. Shark has not
Something
just
like that?
shapes. It has other things. It's got like items inside of a bag that you're feeling, which
I
is
think
a
that's a
weird
cool-
one.
it's a
Because there's a
cool
lot of
idea.
stuff
Grapes,
inside.
you have grapes with the skin peeled
I
off
don't know.
for
This
eyeballs.
is mentioned. This is
Like an old-
definitely
it's like
better.
an old church haunted house.
haunted
Less,
house,
little
yeah.
less creepy, but I can't remember what exactly is in that one. But it's fun in that regard. Similar idea, but I like this one better because you're not dealing with. Because I think in that game there's similar feeling items. So it's which is the same idea, but it's more things going on.
I mean, tactically.
Exactly, more a little bit another layer of what you're trying to
Interesting.
figure out.
Like two things that are fuzzy?
I
Is that-
cannot remember.
Oh.
It's been a while, and I finally got a copy of that game, and I haven't opened it up yet, but I will after doing this.
So,
So I like that part of it. I mean, I think it might be my least favorite of the three, but I
Wow,
like that part of it
interesting.
for sure.
Well, then let's go to that. Actually, let's do the
No.
kid. Let's do the kids thing.
What's the kids thing?
You're the only one with kids, even though your kids haven't been kids in a long
Yes,
time now.
my kids have graduated college. I'm not going to be playing any of these games with them, but
What?
I can remember that once.
All
upon
right.
a
They're gonna
time.
have grandkids.
Well, but that's
Go back.
Wait,
Go back in your mind. What?
Well, that's an interesting way. I think we probably say this every year. It's like you can look at kids games as kids games that kids can play by themselves, kids games that a parent can play with a kid, or kids games, and I think this is the least legitimate, but it certainly happens a lot too. Kids games that adults can play with no kids around whatsoever, right?
Okay.
And that's a fair thing, but I bet you that's not what this award is about. It's probably trying to find kids games that kids play with someone, either just themselves or a parent or something like that. And of the what was I supposed to say?
I don't know. Just which do you think? I mean, actually, because you guys, there were a lot of kids this year, right, at BGG Spring?
Spring, yep.
So you actually probably played these with, like, you played this with a lot of kids, right? Did you guys manage to play these with kids? Or
I did.
Some of them? And was that different? Did it make
Well,
it
I mean,
different?
the excitement level of that was I did not. I only played this with one kid, and he was great. This one,
Ice Cool.
Yeah, Ice Cool was the one that the child that I played with really, and he was just good. He was really good with it.
Yeah.
So it was,
He liked
it was like, no problem. I also think he has a lower perspective.
Yeah.
got
To
a
see,
better
he's got littler hands and littler arms,
Interesting.
so he's able to like do a much better job than I think any of us could do. I
cool.
honestly think he won that game.
Well, I don't know. You played, was it last year at BGG Spring, the little girl with the crokinole?
The first year of BG
And
Spring,
she
yeah, she was amazing too.
kicked your butt.
So it's like, like, what is this? I should know how to do this, but yeah. Well, I played. Speaking with kids, I played with adults.
Yeah.
The Rhino Hero
Uh-huh.
that you
Yes.
first showed me, and I played it with the giant one.
Yeah.
And but the funny thing in that game, because I wasn't playing with kids, I'm like, I'm going to win this game because I know the gamer aspects of the stuff. So I was beating non-gamer, super gamers. So that was a different kind of a thing all the way around.
Well, you've brilliantly led me into a little segue here, which is I think that the one thing about Captain Silver that might ding it for kids is that gamer aspect of it. The notion of pulling something out and having someone beat you to it. And then having that potentially cost you something, right? You might lose a coin for that, and also you don't have that piece anymore.
Right.
That's the only thing in this that I think might
hurt it for kids.
Yeah, potentially. Again, you don't have to do that, but it'd be one thing if someone beats you to it and it goes back in your bag. That was the one sort of gamer aspect of it, of trying to figure out if you wanted to necessarily try to race someone to something, if you thought, I don't know, you were never really looking. I was never looking to see if you were drawing a map or if you were drawing a wheel.
Another level I was
I was only looking for what was good. I thought was good for me and I could feel in the bag.
Yeah.
There's something kind of joyous about you draw the wrong thing and you have to put it on the volcano, because, I don't know, there's just something fun about that. There was nothing fun about someone beating you to something.
That's
And I could see where kids might not like that. But again, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not answering that question, but I was thinking.
You don't have
Well, just Captain Silver is the one that I think if you had a bunch of adults who are sort of punchy at 2:00 in the morning, would have fun playing that.
Oh,
one,
totally.
Right. It had, and maybe Ice Cool too, but definitely not Mysterious Forest. Right. You're not going to do that with. I don't
A
think.
memory game at 3 a.m? No.
Right. So they have different things. They have different qualities. It's a great set. This always happens every year. They nominate a few games. You say, wow, those are some 3 pretty great games.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're kind of varied in this case. The dexterity game, a co-op game, and a speed
Mark
game.
always is contrary to the rest of the group. The guy that knows the kids' games has a completely different perception. Because remember, I think he picked Richard Ritterschlag a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And not that you're wrong. That's a good game. You know what I'm saying? But it's just funny because you're different. Every time you're different from us. Although we haven't pointed yet.
No.
Yeah.
Let's do our little pointy thing. So we're going to all simultaneously point. We're going to point to the game that we would want to win.
To win, yeah.
This is the game that we want to win. Not the game we think is going to win, the game that we would want to win. 3, 2, 1, point. Ready? 3, 2, 1, point. All right, so 4 of us picked Captain Silver, and Outlier Mark picked the Mysterious Forest. All right,
Because he's an outlaw.
now we're going to pick the game that
Outlier outlaw.
we think that the game is going to win.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm just wrestling with my choices.
3, 2, 1, point.
Wow.
Wow, Nikki is sticking with Captain Silver, and the rest of us.
Well, I've always been wrong.
That's cool.
I 50-50 on these two. Because last year I picked, or no, it wasn't last year. Last year was, I don't even remember what.
I don't either.
Anyway,
saying
year
it was
before.
Leo and
Oh, that's right. It
who
was
actually won
it was
last
my
year?
first Stone Age or whatever.
Yeah,
My
first
first
game.
Stone Age and
This one was the previous year. I picked Pick a Monster, Push a Monster, and it was Spinderella, right?
Yeah.
Spinderella had that toy factor.
thing.
Well,
Yeah.
I picked this for the Mark Johnson factor. You're the one that always says the one that looks nicest as a Christmas
Oh, I
gift.
forgot that this year,
That looks
right.
like fanciest is the
Right.
one that always wins.
What's the one that Grandma buys?
The idea, if the minute you see someone open this box and put that board together, that's the award right there almost. And
Yeah.
if the Mark Johnson factor is as strong
It's
as
not always right.
you claim
but
that it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tough choice. I honestly feel any one of the 3 would be a complete and fair choice. None of them are terrible at all.
No.
They're all really good.
Yeah.
I just feel that the most entertaining at ones are these 2. This one's, and Mark chose this one. I understand why he does choose it, but for me, the entertainment factor is not as high. But I can see what he's saying. Like, it's an easy one to flip out and do and have enjoyment with it because it's going to be different. You could potentially. This is definitely a 2 a.m. game for our group. You know.
If Mysterious Forest didn't look as good, would you have picked it?
Probably not. No, I think that's a
so.
big
the
part of
gameplay
job.
is part of it.
Well, it's
but
gorgeous.
A huge
I mean, the
chunk
whole
of it
thing
is
is
the
gorgeous.
art.
the game. Well, yeah, absolutely. It's the total sort of.
There's nothing wrong with that,
evocative
by the way.
experience.
That's arguably as important as everything else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the best looking one is.
Nikki, you were the only one to pick
know.
Captain Silver. What was your thinking on that?
I saw a lot of kids play it.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
They were having fun, and I know that the jury stands around and watches
Just the
when
kids
the
play,
kids
yeah.
play it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And now that might be kind of blind because I wasn't able.
Right.
Every time I walked by the table where Mysterious Forest was, there were adults playing it, so I couldn't.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I couldn't gauge.
That's great.
Yeah,
I
with
couldn't gauge that, but I'm just gauging from what I saw in my booth.
It's such a crapshoot for us anyway, right? We
really
tend to
don't.
play these once and only once. We rarely get to see kids play them. I mean, that's the fact that you guys are able to do that is kind of cool. And then it's the jury. It's hard to know even what the jury is
It's just
like
fun
for.
to play along.
Exactly.
All right, well,
Well,
I
I
guess
wonder how this would go with kids. Like the
Mr.
thinking,
Force?
the youngest, you couldn't play it with really young kids. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I think because it's a co-op.
Right, but the thing, I guess you're just convincing them. But what kind of argument can they make? You know what I'm saying? On whether that was
Or
there.
you let them play, you know they're making a dumb move, but you just do it because it's fun and you flip over the cards.
Yeah.
It's like reading a picture book
Yeah.
with a game attached to it.
And in your head, you say, "See, I told you so."
Yeah,
But
no.
you don't say it out loud.
And they get really excited when they flip over a Loki
And-
because Loki's cute and funny.
and arguably on the easiest level, you want tokens that aren't helpful anyway, so you can swap them out or trade them in for stuff. So even if they're making mistakes, it doesn't necessarily matter.
Well, and you know how it is. I don't think you have to win. I mean, I honestly
Right.
feel with kids, it's probably good to learn to lose a little bit too. You know, I love co-op games for kids though. I mean, that was why I really liked last year's. I'm sad. I think ultimately the reason why that one didn't win, and I don't know if we talked about it in the video because we kind of heard about it that it was a problem. In Leo, you could just accidentally go through the entire map, the entire trail, just by sheer chance.
Yeah.
Like and it happened.
Okay.
Michelle Alden
Once a
had
lot.
that happen to her in her group.
Like
And it's
twice or something.
No, I think it
It
was
was
just once, but it
bizarre.
was their very first time through, and
Yeah.
it would completely deflate that game.
Yeah.
And I don't
Right.
know what you can do to fix that, but I think that hurt that game.
Right, you could go through, you could win this one the first play, but it's still going to be due to skill and memory.
Yes.
Not just random chance.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying.
Plus, you're
I
rolling
think-
all those dice and choosing what to put in there. So
Right.
you're doing more game
You're
stuff.
interacting
Yeah,
with
that's
it more.
true.
True, definitely true. I can see your point, and you may be right because I really am not good at picking these at all.
Well, still,
Mark
for
still picked Ice Cool.
for the prediction. I just think that's my Mysterious Force is my favorite, but Ice Cool.
Oh, because we all picked this and he picked that, then we
Yeah.
all picked that and Nikki picked this.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
right. Yeah.
Nikki stuck with Captain
I had to
Silver.
I just think
Weirdo.
Ice Cool belonged
You're
in
not a weirdo.
the
You might be
Special
right.
Jahres category
You might be
instead
the
of Kinder,
smartest
but-
one here.
Well, they're all really fun games. There's neat. I don't think there's been a real bad one. The only one that was the weakest one, and it wasn't bad either, was Shots or Bots. Remember, you're stuffing the stuff in your little chest.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
That
yeah.
was awesome, that part, right?
Yeah.
It was the most kids version,
Yeah.
but that element was really great. And
Yep.
I don't know that anybody will jump up and play that again, but that was fun too. I mean, they definitely do a good job of selecting fun games. They're not just the terrible, terrible kids games we used to play as youth.
Exactly.
Oh man,
You know,
yeah.
at all. Chutes and Ladders or Snakes and
I don't even remember.
Ladders.
Like all the games I remember playing as a kid were like 3-day sessions of Monopoly. And,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't even remember playing kids games. I'm sure I played Payday and Shoots and Ladders probably. And
Operation.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't own Operation, but I'm sure I played it. But you know what I mean? Like when I don't want to sound like when I was a kid, we went out and played outside. And honestly, if we played games, we wanted to play the adult games, right? Because we wanted to be grown-ups. We wanted to grow up earlier than we should.
That's true. I mean, you know, you probably don't really. I don't know if your parents play games with you. My parents did a little bit.
Oh my God, though, my Hot Wheels set.
Yeah,
I
that
played
was
with
your life.
Oh, that was awesome. We had a long hall in our house, so I could make like a big long.
We did the stairs.
Yeah, exactly, right?
We would play with the trucks out in the dirt and make
The Tonka
ramps
trucks?
and
Yeah.
Tonka trunks and stuff.
All right, there you go. Little moment for wistfulness and the show. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.